all, the clock just struck 12 o'clock midday, and so you know what that means by now. I'm quite sure it's time for all your trending, hip and happening news out there in the world of celebrity and showville. This is my humble abode at the SABC headquarters in Auckland Park, Johannesburg, the home of TRENDZ with me, Refiwe Mwilwa. Follow us on Twitter. I am at Refiwe Mwilwa, and the show is at TRENDZ on SABC. And tell us what's made your week in entertainment. First up, as always, let's dig into the main headliners in local and international entertainment news.
Musician turned actress Nandi Mngoma drew praise from fashion critics around the world, as well as the international media when she appeared on the BET Awards red carpet wearing items from her debut clothing range called Colour. Mngoma's clothing line, which got a thumbs up from various countries globally, will only be officially unveiled at Africa Fashion International in August. Arts and Culture Minister Nathi Mthethwa has launched an anti-racism song amid increasing racial tension in the country. Titled No Love, No Life, the song features Mzwakhe Mbuli, Thokoza Langa, Zayn Bika, Mbongeni Ngema, David Jenkins, as well as backing vocals from the late Miriam Makeba. The anti-racism song will be included in a fully fledged album to be released by the Department of Arts and Culture, and comes as an extension of the anti-racism campaign which the department is involved in. The man who impersonated Maskandi musician Khulekani Nkumeni Kamalo has been sentenced to an effective 22 years in jail by the Pietermaritzburg Magistrates Court. In 2012, Xabashe caused a stir in the South African music scene when he claimed to be the late musician Khumalo. In December last year, Xabashe was convicted of rape, kidnapping, assault, fraud and attempted escape. Musician Zakes Bantwin has been invited to perform at the prestigious Essence Music Festival in New Orleans, USA. He revealed that he's determined to win the US audience over. The 2016 Essence Music Festival, which started on Thursday, will feature a star-studded lineup including Mariah Carey, Kendrick Lamar, Sierra Maxwell, Charlie Wilson, Tyrese Gibson, Faith Evans, and Classman star Jidena. It will end this weekend.
Now, the South African flag was flown high at the BET Awards held in California, LA last weekend. Our very own DJ Black Coffee made history again, where he walked away with the best international act in Africa. Other South African celebrities who attended the awards included the likes of Lerato Kganyago, Terry Peto, Casper, who was also a nominee, and Mr. Super Mega and your girl B were, of course, there too, looking every bit as power coupled up as Black Coffee and his wife, the forever stunning Mbali.
Feeling the pain that's lost and scars inside us all. Talking to brutes and suits about how they would fall. We find a day.
We won a Grammy now. It means it's more of a it's more of a validation. You know, it's more of like, okay, you're on it, because it's been a dream and a goal from the beginning, like to get here. I want the main event, so that's what's next for me.
I think it's just fantastic because our industry is doing really, really well internationally too, and the fact that the rest of the world is actually acknowledging the amount of work we put into, into music as Africa as a whole. I think it's fantastic. It's a big one for South Africa too.
What do you think of the BET Awards? I mean, this is kind of a new experience. This is your second year here. Speak to South Africans that have never been there. Give them a sense of how these awards are as opposed to the SAMAs or the African Music Awards? Just paint a picture.
I mean, it starts first with the experience when you have to attend like comedy shows, concerts. Like we had Asha, we had 2 Chainz last night, and the basketball, and also just meeting all these artists that we just like see from afar on TV and like see them in real life. It's like really amazing, and also just networking.
I just finished shooting BET mini-series with Lawrence Fishburne, and it's a story of Dada Nelson Mandela, and I play Mama Winnie. Finally, I'm playing Winnie Mandela, so I'm so excited about that. And I just signed with Paradigm in Hollywood, so I'm here taking meetings, but we'll be on my way home very soon.
Nice one. Now, hot off the BET Award fanfare, Black Coffee has already worked a remix for Alicia Keys' new banger called In Common, and there's just no stopping the Superman, who on Thursday hosted a free celebration party out at Zone 6 in Soweto, just to say thank you to his most loyal fans. Now, in our next story, I have 2 people sitting across from me here, and we're talking about the fact that the modern day kind of artist is one that's business savvy and proactive in their development. They are both visible on and off screen, and now with the help of technology, it has become even easier for artists to promote their work and have direct contact with their target market, regardless of who they are and where they are in the world. So today I'm sitting here joined by Paul Mojaji, choreographer, esteemed, you know, that guy that many of us know and love and has done so much work holding the flag high for South Africa. He's the founder of Imvula Bula Entertainment. And I also have Allegro Dingwanyane, who is the CEO and founder of Orgela Online and Orgela Media, to talk to us about the entertainment industry as a business. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Great to have you guys here. Paul, starting off with you, and I mean all the things that you have, I suppose by trial and error, gotten to learn are the do's and don'ts of the entertainment industry. Talk us through that to the point where you have now your own business in this industry.
Thank you for having me. First of all, let me just say we celebrate 10 years in business this year. Can you believe it? Officially in business.
Fantastic.
I would say, you know, one of the major things that to this day, I often talk about amongst my peers is that we need to get to a point where we realize the commercial impact of what we do. And one of the best ways to do that is to officially register what we do. A lot of artists out there don't look at themselves as businesses. So there's this thing that we are creatives, and we think that the fact that we can produce work that's selling gives us the right to not look at what we do as a company and as a business. So a lot of artists don't have a business model. So I would say that it's really quite key.
Right.
Yeah.
And who was it for, Allegro? I mean, welcome as well. And for you, very young, and you have done a lot in terms of, you know, the online space, PR. You're out there. And did you come into this knowing already everything that Paul has just said right now?
I pretty much did. You know, I always knew that I wanted to turn my hobby into a business. You know, from the get-go, I was in 3rd year, about to graduate at UJ, and I realized that I needed to register my company. I wasn't just going to start a blog and let it live, you know, in cyberspace and then just let it be. I wanted to, you know, have something legit on paper also that I'm going to sell to brands, you know. And that's what I did with all 8 entities of my company. Everything is registered and trademarked. So I took my business very seriously, never mind that it's an entertainment, but I knew that, I mean, this is, you know, a company that I'm going to make money off of, so I need to take it seriously, and by initially also investing in it myself before other people can do the same.
Fantastic. Geez, you're how old?
26.
Wow. Kudos to you, you know what I mean? That's great insight and also foresight that you had at a young age to say, you know what, I'm not just going, and many people do that. They blog, they do whatever, but is it always a case, I don't know if it's a South African thing, if it's a young black thing, or what, you know, where people are waiting for somebody to discover them.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's not everybody's story, am I right? I mean, there's so many of us who can be the best and stars, but you can't sit there and wait for somebody to say, I think what you're doing is great.
I think part of it has to do with the training we get in academic institutions. You know, we don't get taught or get prepared for the business side of what we do. You know, we get given the skills, so we get into the business and we can write and blog and we can act and dance, but we're not really trained to start thinking about looking for work for ourselves. So we think you go from an institution into an agency and that's the rest of you, but in between that, you need to have some form of company that houses your interest, and that then helps to formalize what you do.
One thing though that some people might not say, so for you, Allegra, I think it's a little bit different because Paul, you are, I mean, your body is your instrument that you use, that's established you to where you are now. being now a businessman and on the other side, almost on the other side a little bit to say, but don't you think that sometimes takes away from the creative part of who you are? Because many people struggle with that balance to say, look, I'm a creative, but now I have to sit in meetings and I'm pitching and I'm doing this and concepts, and can I just go out there and live and enjoy my creativity?
I think if anything, it empowers you because you get to understand exactly all the facets around your business. Right. And I mean, one of the things I often say is that you don't also have to master everything. I mean, Allegro has her own company, but she doesn't do her own financing because you've got an accountant that takes care of your finances. In the same way, you've got a PR team that takes care of your PR. But it's really important that people are sort of hands-on with that business. And I think it's, hence I'm saying, even from an institution point of view, we need to sort of ingrain that quality and understanding that you're entering into a business space, that you're a product yourself, and you need to think about position yourself as such. So as much as you've got time to look at the creative outlet, you also need to think about how to get your product out there, and that's where the business element, I think, kicks in.
Right. Allegro, he touches on a point that I like there about the fact that you have people around you that support your vision, you know what I mean? So tell us about the kind of people that you work with and the kind of projects, I mean, that you know, your company is part and parcel of in South Africa.
Well, the company turns 5 in October this year. I started in 2011, thank you, when I was 21. And I really started with volunteers, freelancers, people who said, we love what you're doing and we just want to offer our services for free. And I've been blessed enough, you know, the company has done very well, and I've hired all 8 of the volunteers that started with me. I've taken 2 out of their previous jobs, and they said, you know what, when you can afford us, we're coming. We're jumping ship.
That's fantastic, because you don't always have that kind of buy-in, even from friends and family, you know what I mean? So something about your model and just, I guess, who you are clearly roped them in to say, you know what, we believe in this young lady's vision.
It's a teamwork.
And of course, teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So Allegro, I mean, just social media and being a visible presence online. Tell us how that has impacted where you are today. And I'm going to ask the same to you, Paul, just to close off.
It has worked for my brand tremendously. Like, people don't understand social media is not just social media for a person like me. It's not just Twitter. I actually get irritated when people are like, oh, it's just Facebook. Why are you always online? Nope. That's my coins. It's not just Facebook. You know, I went on after my BA journalism degree at the University of Johannesburg to study social media and marketing at the University of Cape Town. And the skills that I learned, how to build a brand, how to bridge, you know, the gap between a consumer and their audience. Excuse me, nobody could have taught me that, you know, just by being on Twitter and things like that. So people don't understand that these apps and are made to sort of strengthen us as publicists and the media industry.
You know what I mean? Because the world
so
just
we need
becomes,
to use them.
It's all on your phone, you know? And for Imvula Pula, for you, Paul, just to close up very quickly, what's next?
Look, big things. We're going to Africa this year. I think this ties in brilliantly with what Allegro is saying just now. That, you know, right now we have social media at our hands, which allows us to access markets that previously we had struggles with going into. So this year, Imvula is branching into the rest of the continent. We've done tremendously well internationally. And this year, we just want to see what's happening in Nigeria, in Uganda, in Kenya. Because the world is really our oyster.
It is, it is. Congratulations to the both of you, young, black, doing, you know, South Africa, your families, yourselves proud. And we can only watch your stars rise.
Thank you so
very much, guys. Now stay tuned. After the break, we've got a mixed bag of everything. And on our social calendar in South Africa, a big one this weekend is the Durban July, which we already started talking about last time with designer Vanya Mangaliso and the diva himself, makeup artist Muzi. I'm told the weather ain't so pretty though in Durban, so stay tuned for that. We're back in a moment. Welcome back. You're still watching Trends. Now, the influence of African culture in Brazil goes back some 500 years. But the story of how Africans enslaved in Brazil came to transform the lifestyle of the people there is little known. One exhibit on display in Washington called Bandits and Heroes, Poets and Saints hopes to change all of that. Our correspondent Rebecca Foster visited the Katzen Art Museum in the U.S. Capitol to learn more.
The history of enslaved Africans in Brazil goes back 500 years, with a total of 5 million slaves brought into the country between 1500 and 1850, 10 times as many enslaved Africans as were taken into the U.S. Their story is reflected in these artworks.
Paintings that tell us about challenges, about the difficulties of a history that comes out of enslavement, but comes out with a resilience, a resistance and a resilience, and really a celebration of human nature.
Bandits and Heroes, Poets and Saints. The title of this exhibition reflects some of the roles that Africans came to take on in Brazil as their influence grew over time. One major way in which they blended the cultures they brought with them from Africa with Brazil's own was through the religion of Candomblé.
A very ritual and rich religion, which involves particular costumings, particular instruments and objects. In this show, there are objects that are made for use actually in that religion, actual objects that show the orishas or gods of Africa.
The curators of this exhibition spent the last 25 years collecting rare artworks from Brazil, pieces that reflect the powerful influence of African culture on the region.
And it involved going to cities and small towns, little rural communities, and learning about the art and about the history and the culture and the experiences and values of the people there, and finding the artists who in their work, in their paintings, in their prints, in their wood carvings, in other works, were expressing that history and that culture.
Curators say the story of these slaves and their rise in society needs to be told more widely in the U.S., but also within Brazil itself. This exhibition here in Washington is just one stop for Bandits and Heroes, Poets and Saints, which will be crossing the country as a traveling exhibition. There are currently plans to keep it on view through the year 2020. Rebecca Foster, SABC News, Washington.
Now, Durban's Greyville Racecourse is a buzzing hub of fashion, style, and the who's who on the entertainment scene, not only locally but internationally too, with so many parties and DJs and artists who will be bringing the heat to a rather chilly Durban this afternoon and evening. Now, with the Vodacom Durban July being solid in its position as Africa's greatest horse racing event, such as the leader of the pack, which is the theme for this year. Joining me now from Durban is our journalist Mlu Khumalo. Mlu, hi and welcome to Trends. You're in Durban, it's rather chilly.
Yes, good morning there. Here in Durban, it's extremely cold.
Okay, and tell us what basically is happening right now, leading up to everything later.
Yeah, basically we are right here in Durban. We are live, of course. It's very chilly, it's very cold, yet the atmosphere is very dynamic. People have come out in their numbers, and of course they're here to enjoy the 2016 Durban Vodacom July. With me basically right here, I've got one of my guests who is Brenda Waring, who's also a fashion designer from KwaZulu-Natal, who will tell us more about the weather, the atmosphere, and her designs also. Brenda, thank you very much for joining me today. In short, how are you feeling today? The weather, the fashion, the music, all dynamic. What's your take on today's event?
As always, what a lovely place to be. Better place than Durban. Yes, the weather's cold, but who cares? There's fashion, there's love, there's passion. It's just beautiful. All the fashion designers coming together and just showcasing all this fantastic talent that KZN has. It's lovely, it's lovely.
The theme, leader of the pack, I mean, it's quite a challenging theme. How did you go on about trying to get your model to dress, and how was that?
So I took the royalty side of the Queen of, whether it's Queen of Hearts or any of them, but I put them together, and I went for black and maroon, leather, satin, everything that's royal. I went for a little bit of diamantes, and yeah, so it's all about royalty and just having fun. So yeah, that's my interpretation.
What should we expect in this year's Durban Vodacom July? What's that unique thing about it this year?
I think this year is different because there's a lot more talent. Yeah, every year there's more talent, but this year is very much more talent. The young ones are coming in, so it's challenging. So I think this year is going to be challenging in the sense of the younger ones coming in and showing us how it's done.
And there you have it, one of our fashion designers, Brenda Waring, who told us about today's event. And like I said earlier on, the mood is very dynamic. It's chilly, but people have come in their numbers. Over back to you in studio.
Thank you. That was Mlu out in Durban. He says the mood is dynamic, but people are out there having fun regardless of the weather. Now, Brooklyn, New York recently got introduced to the soccer grannies of South Africa with the premiere of Alive and Kicking. The new documentary, shot by breakout director Lara Andervet, already has an award for spirited storytelling from the Doc NYC Festival. But as Mimi Chairman reports from the Brooklyn Film Festival, audiences agree that the award for team spirit, without a doubt, should go to each and every one of those goggles on the team.
No goal is too high or pitch too wide for the ladies of Bakigula Bakigula. At 65, the youngest team member is about 30 years older than the average retiring soccer player. But there's nothing average about these women who've overcome tough socioeconomic conditions and health issues with grace. And that's what documentary filmmaker Lara Andervet set out to capture.
Life is not easy, but they somehow inside, they bring out this warmth and this energy, and they have these big characters, and they are 80 years old and they're playing soccer and they're singing and they're dancing, and it looks like it feels that they have so much more joy for life than most of us who haven't gone through nearly what they have.
Filmed in the heart of Limpopo over 8 days, Alive and Kicking tells the story of how one socially conscious woman, Mama Bega, put the team in play.
I think it's exciting because I don't know if the world knows that type of character, that South African woman, what she has to deal with and what she's capable of and how lovable she is.
Just 2 years after she quit a corporate job in branding, the documentary is Lara's first big film break, and it's been championed across U.S. film festivals. Filmgoers at the recent Brooklyn Film Festival gave it 2 thumbs up.
I love the energy and the fact that they said, you know, it heals their pain, they can sleep at night, they forget all their troubles, and had a great message, good energy.
I love the music. I mean, that was not a significant part of the feature, but the excitement after they actually played soccer and just hearing them sing and dance, and that was really inspiring.
Like many contemporary African storytellers, Lara said she wanted to strike both light and dark emotional chords.
Often when people watch stories of Africa, it is about, you know, the sadder elements and the things that aren't working and the dysfunctions. And so I did want to hit that balance where, yes, we address on the social dysfunctions that need fixing, but look, there's something else happening here.
Beyond the screen, Lara says she plans to continue working with Mama Beka to tackle some of the needs these women have and hopefully build more soccer granny teams.
As Bega said, her dream is to have Africa Granny's Cup. And so that's kind of the ultimate, that if we could somehow do that and using film, get organized or create Africa Granny's Cup, that would be ideal, and that's kind of the end point.
And there may be a feature-length film to come if that happens.
Well, that's a wrap on her New York premiere, and Lara's getting ready to take the film home to South Africa, to the soccer grannies that helped kick off this film that's about celebrating life and community. Mimi Chairman, SABC News, New York.
I like the challenge.
back to another segment of Trends. We were played to ad break with a fantastic musician. He goes by the name Kent Smoke, and he's here with me. He's an all-rounder and performer, producer, singer, songwriter, and guitarist. And his ID book reads Kenton Lee Vindvoegel, as I just had him help me out with. But for those in the know him as Kent Smoke. He recently embarked on his solo career after years of performing with songbird Lyra, and he is here to tell us more about his journey and his imminent album release. Welcome to the studio, Kent.
What a lovely introduction. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. No, we have to make sure of these things. Eh? I can't just come out here and butcher your name, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's the little things that matter.
It does
that
matter.
show that, you know what I mean, you are here, and thank you for your time to be on Trends
Really
today.
appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Now, you've had quite a long history in the music industry.
Yes.
And like I said, I mean, people who know you, this name Kent Smoke, it's like, who is this guy? Where, you know,
Yes.
your guitar skills are absolutely amazing. That song was fantastic, and
Thank
you
you.
were featuring Eves on that.
Yes.
I just said to you now off air that she should have come through, you know what I mean?
She should have, she should have. But
yeah.
unfortunately, fortunately,
Yes.
she's kicking that side where she's from in PE.
Yeah.
So she couldn't come, but actually she's coming on Sunday.
Fantastic.
So tomorrow,
Fantastic
so she'll
song
be here.
with such a powerful video as well.
Thank you
know
so
what I mean?
much.
So tell us about your music. Tell us about how you basically, you know, you're a master of many things, not
Yes.
just the guitar or the production. Tell us about you.
Okay, well, like you said, I'm not a stranger to the music industry. I've been around for a while. I've played in lots of different bands. I've formed different groups in the past, and I think all roads ended up leading to, okay, what is the 5-year plan? What is the 10-year plan?
Yeah.
And what I absolutely loved about your interview earlier is that, yes, that is it today. Today, you got to be thinking business-minded. You got to be thinking, what is your brand? What does it stand for? Where is it going? Who am I as an individual?
Exactly.
And I think for me, the longest of times, I just told myself a negative story, you know, and it took me 2 years to actually learn the kind of language and vocabulary one needs to fill their conscious, their subconscious
Tell us
cup.
about that language. I want to know, because I want to know what were the reasons for starters for the negative story, and what were these words that got you out of that to get you to where you are now?
Look, we're in an entertainment industry, so it's a very emotional space. So one can get into negative traps, and actually not just the entertainment industry, all industries. One can actually get into a negative trap. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm not dazzling. I'm not good enough. I'm not good looking. I'm not, you know, so many different things that will actually stop you from getting into your greatness, into what you're actually born to be, which is infinite potential.
Yeah.
So I had to really look at this, and after watching a couple of videos and listening to guys like Tony Robbins, a lot had to change. The story had to change.
Yeah.
Because as you know, your belief system is what affects your potential.
Right.
What affects your potential is what affects your actions. What affects your actions is what affects your results. And your results reinforce your belief.
Right.
See, I told you I'm useless. I told you I can't do it. And then you tell
Yeah.
yourself this over
Yeah.
and over until you're in a downward spiral. But that very same formula
dangerous.
can take you back
get you
on
the
an
other
upward.
way.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
So if I keep telling
It's all
myself a different
mind work,
story,
eh? Well, it starts with mind work.
it starts with mind work.
Right.
That's
Fantastic. And just your influences, though, having been playing, and I mean, you've been with groups. I wanted to say, as you were talking about how you've been with different groups and played and whatnot,
Yes.
I was like, but at the back of your mind, you always knew that you were like the Beyonce of the group. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, you know, there can be a group, but there will always be that one standout person who, because of his diversity and because of their talent, they can
Yes.
actually branch out and do a whole lot more, I'm assuming now, you know,
Yes,
as a
yes.
solo artist than you did when you were with groups.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I would look at it like this: the group dynamics didn't have all the tools, principles, and strategies for it to stay together and move forward. Whereas, and I was just as in the same boat as everybody else. And like I said, it took some time to get into the language and the conversation that ended up getting me to look forward to more of the different kinds of tools, principles, and strategies that will get me from where I want to be to where I was to where I am now.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
And who have you worked with on the album? And when is the album coming out in its entirety?
At the moment, we're living in a singles universe. As you guys mentioned earlier, the entire trend has changed. Everything is digital. Your market is right in front of you. It's on your phone. So at the moment, I'm testing singles. I'm developing a sound, like you were asking me earlier. The sound for me is like an organic kind of like mix. I'm seeing it as my own kind of urban popish kind of thing, because there's an element of everything I love about South Africa.
Yeah.
So
and it definitely comes out in your music.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And your influences. I mean, you're there with your guitar. And actually, when I first saw, a picture of you, the first thing that came to mind was the likes of Ernie Smith, Jonathan Butler.
Yes.
I read about you, and those are the guys that you've looked up to, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So fantastic that you have also people who are also eclectic, and the house elements and the people that you've worked with. So
Yes.
that, I mean, will only, make you go further and also appeal
Absolutely.
to a wider mass audience.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So where are you performing? Where can people catch you? Your Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything handles?
Yes, I think the easiest thing is to get onto my website, www.kentsmoke.com.
Yeah.
And the first thing you will see on the site is access to all my social media, so you can follow me there. It's one place where you can see everything, my EPKs, my music videos. The next performance is on the 9th and 10th. I'm doing something at the National Achievers Congress with Robert Kiyosaki. And then on the 23rd and the 24th,
What's going
I am
on?
opening up for Tevin Campbell.
Oh my
I am
gosh.
ecstatic about it.
I didn't even know about that. Please, we have to talk. We have to talk off air. Thank you so very much,
Thank you
Kent,
for having
coming
me.
through to the studio. I like the
Awesome.
name. Fantastic stage name. Kent
Thank you.
Smoke.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That people will remember. You know what I
Awesome.
mean? Thank you so very
Cheers.
much.
Thank you.
Now, TRENDZ caught up with radio and TV personality Bonang, a.k.a. Queen Bee Mateva, last month behind the scenes on one of her many magazine cover shoots, where she had a tete-a-tete with our producer about the ins and outs of how to stay on your A game in the industry and reach your truest potential, something that Kent was just talking about as well. Now, Queen Bee just turned just 29 last week Saturday, and with the flurry of well wishes and love she received while she was celebrating, and of course working too at the BET Awards, there's just no slowing down for this fierceness slayer of note. Have a look.
South African media personality and style icon Bonang Mateva is on the cover of this month's issue of Mary Claire. The magazine invited us to come behind the scenes to have a chat with the Queen Bee herself. Let's go find out what else she plans on taking over.
My African expansion is right up there with some of the things that have been top of mind. Of course, the Uganda Music Awards, the South African Music Awards. I do a lot of red carpet hosting across the continent, a lot of fashion week appearances, going back to Lagos, hosting a mentoring camp in September in KwaZulu-Natal. So my calendar is quite full. Finding time to celebrate my 29th birthday in June, going back to LA and New York for some press and some award ceremonies there. And yeah, there isn't one specific thing, but there's quite a few.
Okay.
All my cover stories are different because I've got a lot to say. I've got a lot to tell. My career is always evolving. There's always a new achievement or a new accomplishment or a new journey that begins, from one cover to the next. I'm very diverse. So it's got to be a much kind of trimmed down, laid back Bonang. Giving you the secrets of how I do what I do every day. And just being an inspiration. Also, the Mary Claire woman is quite... she wants a lot of gravitas, a lot of content, a lot of rich information. So I'm going to dig deep into what makes me tick, more than just the fluff and the biz and the glamour and what people see on the outside. There's a lot of intricacies and a lot of things that happen in order to make things work behind the scenes. So.
Bonang Mateba's takeover is reaching further out into the continent. Her personal style has her looking fabulous every time she steps out into the limelight, influencing a look that many look up to and emulate.
Style is unique. It is a representation of you, your personality, the things you like. It speaks on your behalf, and it just represents the kind of person that you are, your uniqueness. And I think stylish people don't necessarily follow trends, but they follow their hearts themselves, what they love, what looks good on them. So for me, that would be my definition.
Her collaboration with Nigerian fashion designer Toju Foye is one of the many projects she has worked on, expressing the best of her personal style.
Oh yes, Toju. She sent me an email a couple of months ago while I was here, and she said, she wants to do a collection, a brand new collection inspired by me. And I thought, why not? You know, send me the pictures, send me the pieces. And let's see, I absolutely love them. Of course, she really captured the essence of Bonang. And I flew to Nigeria, did a lookbook for her, and those are the pictures that people are starting to see. We're releasing them, you know, a new look every day, and it's been fantastic. I mean, I've got such a huge following outside of South Africa, particularly in Nigeria, so it just made sense that I was there, and I did a whole lot of other things while I was there, TV interviews, radio interviews, but my collab with Toju was just as I expand, you know, my fashion brand and my brand all across the continent.
So from the entire collection, which piece did you see and you were like, oh gosh, this is so...
Oh goodness, there were so many. It's unfair to say this one I loved more than the other, but the silver jumpsuit is getting a lot of love. I know people have not seen me in a khele, an iconic khele, and the pink outfit is also, you know, I know a lot of brides love that, and then a lot of my younger followers love the jumpsuit, and then there's another gold dress that, you know, the fashionistas love. So there's a little bit of everything in that collection, which is quintessential Bonang.
And here are some winter essential tips from the Queen Bee herself.
I mean, a great trench coat. You can't go, you know, without a great trench coat. A great crisp white shirt is always good. A lovely pair of boots, always lovely. We don't live in a very cold country, which is nice, so you can really kind of switch up and style up your summer wardrobe by, you know, layering. I love layering. So you can peel things off as the days get warmer and warmer. But you know, at the end of the day, for me, I don't follow trends. I just wear what's comfortable and what looks great.
Let's get the show on the road, ladies and gents.
Her secret to success is finding ways to package what she loves and giving it out into the world. The life of success is certainly not achieved overnight. Here is advice for getting up that ladder and staying firmly up there as she is.
You need to find something about yourself that you love, that you can bottle and sell, that will make you different from everybody else. I think that's where you start. And then, you know, kind of empowering yourself with a skill behind it, whether it's in education or mentoring or getting a coach, whatever it is. You need sort of like a support or a guidance or somebody that is in the industry that you want to kind of break into, that will help you and give you the ins and outs. Also a little bit of patience and a lot of hard work. There's a lot of young people who have forgotten, I think, the true value of hard work, and we sort of want instant gratification. I mean, we live in the times of social media, so hard work and the value behind it is sort of withered away. We want overnight successes, and we just want to be great tomorrow, and nobody wants to put in the time and the effort. So I think that's the most important thing, and just realizing and knowing that success is your own responsibility. No one owes you anything. You are on this earth alone. You came alone, and everybody's out there minding their own business, looking out for themselves. So you need to do that for yourself as well.
From myself, Bonang Mativa, aka Queen. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Nice one. A new documentary about a quest for healing that led to answering an ancestral calling and questions of identity is launching at the National Arts Festival in Grahamstown this week. Let's take a look at this insert for more.
I was brought up to despise the way of the ancients, to close my ears to the voices who whisper the wisdom of African mysteries. But I'm a guardian, a keeper of spirit treasures.
Sylvia Vollenhoven's journey is one of healing and identity. Its journey began with the search for a cure for what was seemingly a terminal illness and led her to discovering a Khoisan descendant. This reconnection with the writer's ancestral past brought the realization that she had been stripped of her African identity and culture.
I can remember the exact day that it started, and it was in 2008, and it just started with kind of a feeling of nausea, like travel sickness that I couldn't get rid of. But it got worse and worse until I was having constant infections of all kinds and so sick and debilitated that I couldn't work. At some stage, I could only get up for half a day, and then I was in bed for half a day. And I went to loads of doctors, loads of experts, mostly mainstream medical people, and the conclusion was always the same. They don't know what's wrong, but they suggest it's chronic fatigue.
On completing the work produced in the form of a book, a play and a documentary, she discovered not only was she healed, but a changed person. The Keeper of the Kum evokes a society that was massacred, whose language has been wiped out and land was taken away. It tells a story of loss and redemption, of dispossession and reclamation. This history, she argues, has left a void in society that is still evident to this day.
The quality of your life depends on the quality of the stories that you tell yourself, the quality of the stories that you were brought up with. Who are your parents? Who are you? Where do you come from? What language do you speak? What is your culture? What is your tradition? All of those things are extremely important in shaping who you are and how you are in the world. But when those things are lies, or when they are missing, or when they've been distorted, then the kind of disconnect you suffer and the kind of pain you suffer is very real. And then I started looking at the community that I grew up in, and I started looking at this thing of being colored. And I had always just thought it was a political irritation, this thing of color. Then I realized, no, it is an extremely damaging construct. When you tell a child that he or she is colored, you reduce her to somebody that has no clear and finite history that is contained in that word. But when you say to somebody, you are Khoi, or you San, or you Namakwa, or you Hesekwa, or you Griqua, then suddenly there's a history that opens up. There is a vision of who you can be within the landscape of Africa. But colored might sound benign. It might just sound as if it means nothing. It means a lot, and it means a lot of things that are very damaging. So if we continue to bring people up in this construct, cut them off from their history, they suffer problems. They suffer all kinds of identity problems. I personally think that it is no accident that, or there's no other reason for the fact that in the communities where I come from, there is a high amount of drug addiction, of alcohol abuse, of violence, of crime related to family dysfunction. And those things are indicative of people who are disconnected from themselves, who have been dispossessed of the land, who have been dispossessed of their own history and their own sense of who I am in this place.
The Keeper of the Kum takes the reader and viewer on Vollenhoven's quest of discovering a revolutionary Khoisan ancestor named Qabo, who lived 100 years ago. Driven by his need to safeguard his fragile culture, he went on a quest to preserve his stories. The result is The Keeper of the Kum, a historic and modern quest that weaves a story intersecting boundaries between the ancestral and contemporary worlds in search of healing. The theatrical version of The Keeper of the Kum will be showcased at the National Arts Festival in Grahamstown, coinciding with the release of the book. I am Zinzi Swamani, reporting from Cape Town.
Sounds interesting indeed. The Keeper of the Kum. Wow. Now, a number of well-known South African jazz and Afro-pop artists performed at the Ugu Festival in Port Shepstone, KwaZulu-Natal last weekend. The festival, held at Ugu Sports and Leisure Centre, was celebrating a decade since their inception in 2006.
This year's lineup included the likes of Sipho Hostix Mabuse, Zahara, Zakes Bantwini, Ringo Madlingos, and many more. Most of the performers who entertained the crowd at the festival have been part of this event since its inception 10 years ago. Event organizer Siyam Somi tells us more about this year's event.
We have got arts and culture from national level who have just committed that they want to push this event. We've got lottery, we've got so many partners who want to be with us. So guys, we're moving forward. Come with us.
And here is what some of the musicians who performed at the festival had to say about the event.
What an incredible audience. I didn't even believe that they knew some of the most of the music that we played tonight. So I was a bit apprehensive. I was like, wow, do these people know what I'm going to do? But wow, surprisingly, it was incredible. The response was just awesome.
Ndifuna ubulela kuni SABC namhlanje silapha ku festival abantu bebengathenganga even amatikiti ngoba nina nidlala umculo wethu nathi niyasikhupha niyasi-interview abantu bengazazi istory zethu.
This year the festival was celebrating a decade in existence. Staged as one-day event, fans were pleased with the performances.
It is very great and we are very grateful for it. And we see that it'll be very great. Thank you.
Well, this is my first time in Uku Jazz and Bengi with VIP. Yeah, with stages. It was awesome.
The festival aims to attract even a larger number of fans as it embarks on a journey of another decade of nothing but good music.
Welcome back to the last stretch of Trends. Organizers of the Academy Awards have invited nearly 700 new members with a focus on female and minority talent onto its voting board for the Film Awards in efforts to address the never-ending outcry over the lack of diversity. Actors Idris Elba, America Ferrera, Oscar Isaac, John Boyega and Eva Mendes were among the 683 potential new members of the voting board.
According to a statement released by the Academy, 46% of those invited are female and 41% are people of color aged 29 to 41. All 20 acting Oscar nominees this year were white for the second consecutive year, prompting criticism with the online hashtag #OscarsSoWhite. The largely white, male and older roster of film industry professionals who belong to the Academy have also been cited as a barrier to racial and gender equality at the Oscars. The potential new members would boost the Academy's female roster to 27% from 25% last year. People of color would make up 11% of the total voting body, up from 8% in 2015. The Academy has also introduced new membership rules to help diversify its makeup by stripping some older members of voting privileges.
Nice one to the Academy. Now, a large array of local stars are in Durban this weekend, from house DJ Black Coffee, aka DJ Tira, and Chris Brown. Yep, Chris Breezy will be in the town as well, and they'll be bringing the heat to all parts of the coastal city. So if you happen to be at the Durban Greyville Racecourse for the Durban July, here's a bit of a gig guide of where you can go to unwind after all the glitz and glam.
The time has finally come for Durban to host the most anticipated event of the year, and what better way to end the night than with Mzansi's biggest act. Afrotainment presents the 5th annual Fact Durban Rocks after party at the People's Park Moses Mabhida Stadium. The hottest local artists will shut it down on 3 main stages. On the lineup, catch Tulo the Song, Big Nas, Nasty C, Black Coffee, aka DJ Dimples, Major League and more supporting acts.
You know you right, man. Ever gonna quit? Hell nah, hell nah. Will I dumb it down a bit? Hell nah, hell nah. Am I running?
Nasty C will also be appearing at the Metro FM shutdown party for all the hip-hop heads at 47th Avenue in Springfield.
If tonight is the last night, I'll see you in paradise.
The 11th annual closing party for the South African Music Conference is stepping it up a notch this year. The mother of all parties is headlining the multi-platinum selling sensation Chris Brown, the multi-talented American artist Tinashe, Grammy Award-winning rapper Eve, and the Detroit hip-hop group Slum Village. This party is like no other, with a mixed house and hip-hop star-studded lineup of the best in South Africa performing on 3 different stages. It's taking place today at the Growth Point Kings Park Stadium.
Juice, juice,
juice, juice. The city of Durban will be lit with festivities this weekend. Head out to Max's Lifestyle Umlazi tomorrow for the wrap-up party. Artists who will grace the stage include DJ Spectacular and Naves, MT, DJ Tira, Ricky Rick, and many more.
made a couple calls and got my juice back.
My goodness, talk about a Durban shutdown in entertainment. Geez, it looks fabulous. All the events that are happening out there in Durban, hope you caught it. And well, that's how we come to the end of this show for this week. Please be sure to catch me, Refuel When We Were, again next week at 12 o'clock on the SABC News channel. We're about to play out. Ken Smoke is waiting. He's about to do a track called Don't Take Your Love Away, featuring MXO and Patty Monroe. Goodbye.
bunch of flowers could make up for what I've done. Should I go or keep on talking? Should I stay or keep on walking? Life's been a living hell. Still I ring the doorbell and I find strolling in the rain, stand what's on me, yeah. Strolling in the pain. What a lonely man, what a place to be. What a lonely man, what a place to be. What a lonely man, what a place to be. Don't take your life away, sister. They lose that door. I'm a fun, I'm a fool, I'm a mama Lamborghini. Everyone's dying around. Yeah, 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 yeah. Don't take your life. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't take your love. I always listen without interrupting, try to talk to you, but never accusing you of acting foolish. See this love we have now, to me, baby, it's useless. Cupid.